Hi, everybody. Welcome back to In the Cards and Stars. I'm your host, Brit Madrid Mogensen, and we've got a very fun episode for you guys. I'm so excited to do this love triangle tarot tea time. So, this episode is all about the love triangle between Sabrina Carpenter, Shawn Mendes, and Camila Cabello. This has been highly requested. I've done the research, I've got a lot of key points here. We're going to pull some tarot cards, and I'm going to do an extended for all of our YouTube members who want to dive a little bit deeper into the astrology of it all. You guys, this is very juicy. Without further ado, let's dive right in. First of all, Short and Sweet is the name of the album. I am obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter, as you guys can tell by my outfit and hair. I think she's amazing. Okay, so before we do the tarot reading, let's get a little bit of a, background understanding of what's going on here. I know we've all listened to the album Short and Sweet. I really love it. I was surprised by how many songs were about heartbreak and the love triangle that we're going to get into today. Because a lot of her other songs, I mean, the biggest hits have been very fun and, just kind of tongue in cheek. Her having the perspective of like the woman who's kind of in control. It was giving Queen of Wands, which is why that's the card I use for the thumbnail. And even the Queen of Wands has a heartbreaker too. So I like that we're seeing a little bit more about Sabrina. And this definitely brought up a lot of discussion about her Shawn Mendes experience. Now, she said in interviews that this album is not necessarily about the most recent relationship, that she has written about things that happened, a couple of years ago or in the past. So I don't think that this album has much of Barry Keoghan in it. In the members extended, we are going to talk a little bit about Barry Keoghan. We're going to get into some of that drama, that tea. Okay, hold on. The only thing that may be about Barry is Bedchem, the song Bedchem. That one I think is about Barry. The other ones, I think this is Shawn Mendes, maybe a little bit of Joshua Bassett. But the Shawn Mendes of it all really is captured in Taste. We're going to start with Taste. So in the song Taste, she sings about being in the middle of an on again, off again relationship between two people. Here are the lyrics that struck me the most. I heard you're back together, and if that's true, you'll just have to taste me when he's kissing you. If you want forever, I bet you do. Just know you'll taste me too. Okay, I really wanted to sing that, you guys, but I didn't want to get a copyright because my voice is just so good. But obviously, I'm kidding. I love this song. It's so good. And the speculation behind the song that we're going to pull a card on, Shawn and Camila, who broke up in 2021 after dating over 2 years and buying a house and getting a dog together. I mean, this was giving very serious relationship, long term, forever kind of love. Well, they broke up, like I said, in 2021, and then they briefly rekindled in 2023 and possibly again a few months ago in 2024, back in July, for what seemed like about a week, question mark. Let's go ahead and pull some cards on Taste. Now, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only, of course. That's what these readings are. But also, oh my, okay, when the cards just start flying before I can even finish my sentence. But also, in response to Taste, Camila Cabello did a TikTok where she very distinctly had hair that looks just like Sabrina. I mean, we're all three of us are rocking this look right now. She did a TikTok and she used her song June Gloom, seemingly in response to Sabrina Carpenter's Taste. Now, June Gloom is about the perspective of Camila Cabello, who was the ex-girlfriend, who is now looking at her ex, who has shown up hanging out with her. And she has this backstory with this person. So this person feels like this is her, her love, the person that she lived with, got the dog with, all of this. And so we then see Camila's perspective. And if this is why she did it, I think that's genius because I love the fact that we're seeing both sides of the coin. I don't think it's the women that are the problem, to be honest. So she talks about June Gloom and she says, why are you on my side of town if you're with somebody else, basically, if someone else is so great, if this is a person that you want to be with. So we see heartbreak from both women. And I think that Camila released that not to be snarky or rude, but I feel like to also show her sadness and to show, hey, there are three sides to every story. Okay. Anyway, I digress. So, oh my God, you guys, not the Judgment card and the Emperor card. Holy smokes. Can we get a moment? Okay. Now, I have done readings for Shawn Mendes many, many times on this channel because this is one of my most popular requests. And the Emperor card has come out for him before. This is someone who can be, I just got goosebumps, someone who can be a little bit, how can I say this? They think a little bit too highly of themselves. Okay. The emperor can be a little bit pushy. They just think that they can do whatever they want. This to me is very naive, immature energy. I feel like a lot of people, a lot of men, they grow out of this. This is when you're in a state of mind, though, where you're not really thinking of other people. You're just kind of living your life and it's somewhat selfish. I'm not going to mince words in this reading, okay? We just had the Virgo new moon, so I'm going to give it to you straight. Then we have the Judgment card as well, and this is about the Emperor being a little bit judgmental, to be honest. Again, we're going to see this from everyone's perspective. I don't want to be too mean, but from Sabrina's perspective, she saw Shawn Mendes as quick to make snap judgments, kind of self-centered. And the judgments that he made really were dependent on just what he felt in the moment. I almost feel like because we also have Sharpest Tool as another song on Sabrina's album, I almost feel like he maybe was a little bit judgmental, like philosophically. Have you guys ever seen those people who they profess being like this wonderful, like, love everybody type of person? There are a lot of influencers who do this. And then they're the very ones that are like the meanest. That's what I'm kind of getting here. It's like, yes, he's like, everybody has a perspective and this and that. Yet, as she mentioned in her songs, he was not a good communicator. He kind of left her hanging. I mean, this is giving selfish and a little judgmental. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Yikes. Okay, so moving on. So that is Taste. And the music video is so good. This is the song that I think if Camila and Sabrina are going to ever do a duet, it would be at the VMAs and they would duet Taste. And oh my gosh, I hope they do this. Just turn it around and make this about you guys. And can you imagine how much Shawn would be squirming? I'm sorry. That's the best revenge. Just have a killer song and you and the other woman, quote unquote, could just do it together. And I love it. Okay. So our next song, Sharpest Tool. Here is one of the main lines that I picked out that really struck me. We never talk about how you found God at your ex's house. Always made sure that the phone was face down. Very sus. Seems like overnight I'm just the B word, because we're not going to curse on the channel. B word you hate now. Yikes. Shawn was spending a lot of time meditating in nature. There were all these pictures of him, with like the woman who had the little thing up his nose, and he was on a spiritual quest. Okay. And sometimes those can be good. I've also met people back in the day when they were on like little spiritual quests and stuff, and it was a little sus. Like, I don't know. They were like saying that they were going to meditate for like a week and then they didn't have their phone. But was it really because they were meditating for a week, or was this an excuse because they were pseudo spiritual? Sorry, T. Anyone who has been in this situation in the past can relate to this song. And I love that she's calling this out. Also, Shawn did talk about being on a journey to find himself after his breakup with Camila and when he took a big break from music. He also has a bird tattoo. So that to me is a big Easter egg. The bird flies by. I mean, Easter egg, Shawn's bird tattoo, signed, sealed, delivered. That is what I think the song is about. Let's pull a card. What exactly inspired this Sharpest Tool? Of course, he found God at his ex's house. It was a lot of spiritual mumbo jumbo. I think that he used, maybe, manipulated in order to not feel guilty for two-timing Sabrina. I'm telling you guys, this is a trope. Like, this is a type of guy. This is a type of bad guy that you don't want to date. Pay attention to someone's actions. Of course, people are going to say all these things. And I'm not saying that he's like an evil person or people that do this are evil. They might just be lost and confused. But, well, clearly, if someone says they're spiritual, if they say that they're loving, are they actually communicating? Do they actually listen to you? Are they empathetic, or do they just talk about how important empathy is? There's a huge difference. So, my 2 cents for anybody out there who's, on the dating scene, as your older sister who's, been there, done that, I would say pay attention to actions, not words. Words can be very deceiving. And we want to see the best in people. And I think Sabrina is a beautiful, beautiful soul. And I think Shawn's well intended. I just think he's confused and, maybe has a few vices that he's working through. Okay. Okay. Let's get a little clarity around the song Sharpest Tool and Shawn's actions. Wheel of Fortune, what goes up must come down. Yeah, he was exposed. Basically, you can say all of these things, but the Wheel of Fortune is going to spin and the truth will always come out. What is done in the darkness always comes to the light. Absolutely. And I think she's shining a light on this type of behavior, which is good. Okay, what else? I still have taste stuck in my head. I can't. This is like how I felt about espresso. Like you just can't stop playing it in your head. Sabrina is so good. I really wanna go see her concert. I hope she comes to Kansas City. I didn't see that on the list. I will travel for Sabrina, though. I will go to a different city. Okay, let's see. It would just be a fun one to go to, especially with, like, your friends, you know? Just sing at the top of your lungs and dance and dress up like this, wear fake bangs. You must wear a clip-on bang if you go. Okay. The Hanged Man. Guys, oh my god, stop. I'm gonna scream. When the tarot tea is just too dead on. Yes, what goes up must come down. He definitely had a hanged man energy. The impression that he was giving was that he just didn't know which way to go. This to me, I like this card actually because as annoying as this can be, you know, from the perspective of the person who, you know, loves Sabrina's music and thinks she's a great person and empathizing with her and how that must have felt for her, getting the Hanged Man card for Shawn, this is really revealing to me, for entertainment purposes only, that his intentions were not sinister. I don't think that, you know, this was a Five of Swords situation. I don't think he was making things up to hurt her. I think he literally felt like the Hanged Man, which is unsure of what to do. You're just kind of hanging in the middle. Like you're just you don't know what to do. It's so stressful and confusing to actually be the hanged man energy because you don't want to make a move because you're just terrified that you're going to make the wrong choice. This tells me that he had feelings for both Sabrina and Camila at that time because that's what hanged man energy is. It's really not knowing. The Wheel of Fortune, not only was this exposed, but it's also a fear that you're going to make the wrong choice, you know, and then change everything for yourself. Unfortunately, not making a choice is a choice, and that's how you lose both people, which I think that's where he's at right now. Okay, T. Moving on. Life lessons, dang. Okay. The next song that I want to pull a couple cards on is Coincidence. Obsessed with this song. She talks about an ex who has a sixth sense for when Sabrina is with this person. Here's the lyric. Now, her name comes up once, then it comes up twice. And without even being here, she's back in your life. Now she's in the same city on the same night. Also, about Coachella in this same song. What a surprise. Your phone just died. Your car drove itself from LA to her thighs. Palm Springs looks nice, but who's by your side? She looks like the girl you outgrew. She kind of looks like the girl you outgrew. Okay, this is obviously referencing that at one point, Shawn said he outgrew Camila. He was over it, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, trying to get Sabrina to, you know, date him, give him a chance in the relationship. And it didn't work out. So, because she found out this is the phone being down, hiding things, basically like the jig is up. She knew what was going on. So, let's pull a couple of cards here to see just to see any additional information we can get around it, the writing of this song or the incidents that happened. How about we pull a card for Camila here? How she must have felt on the other side of this. Like when Camila was at Coachella with Shawn, how did she feel about the Sabrina situation? Oh, that card fell out. We're gonna take it. The Fool. Oh my God, you guys, not the Fool card. You know, on Call Her Daddy, Camila Cabello did talk about how she just is like, if I feel something, I have to say something, I have to do something. You know, it's not one of those things that I can like just push down because then I'll just still always have this on my mind. I just have to do it. This is full energy. It's a fresh start. It's also not really thinking about the consequences. Well, I think she told the truth on the Call Her Daddy interview. I think she just said, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's a little bit selfish, I'm not going to lie. But again, she has her own reasons. She was with him first. I think she took it a little more seriously. Okay. Four of Wands. She felt like he might be the love of her life. That's why. Oh my God, goosebumps. Okay, never mind. I get it. You know that saying, all's fair in love and war? I don't. think you should abuse that, but I think that if Camila thought that he was really the love of her life and they did have this super serious long-term relationship, I'm not saying that it's ideal or it's great, but I get why she would go and meet up with him if she felt like he felt the same way. And Sabrina unfortunately could have been some collateral damage. I don't think it was intentional. I don't think Camila liked that or really tried to think about it too much. I think she was sort of also just trying to figure out what was right for her, and I think she, 4 of Wands, she thought this could be the love of her life, her forever person. I get that, I get that. Yeah, okay. Basically, the tarot tea is just confirming. It's just confirming. It's just like, you know, 2 girls being like, "Yes, yes." That's what the tarot tea is doing. But yeah, I have empathy for both of the people in this situation. Now, Shawn Mendes, the man making these messes. Let's talk about him a little bit to close out this tarot tea podcast episode. And again, there will be a part 2 and there will be some members only exclusive tea spilled later for anybody who wants to get into that. But Shawn Mendes, the man behind the messes, his recent song, Why? This is the song where he sings about his position taking accountability. Okay. So I do respect this. He said, sweating through the sheets, shaken in bed, visions of her naked in my head. But I went off and chose myself instead. Why? Ease my mind. Okay, so his album will be out in October. And he has another song called That'll Be the Day where he sings, I could pretend that I have a chance at another romance. But honey, in the end, even if I try, I'll be wasting my breath. I'll be faking sex because you'll be on my mind. Okay. So, as we can see, Sean is still the very confusing, ever, lingering, undying love that seems very authentic, but there is this confusion and there's an admittance that he is the one who chose himself. So let's look at his numerology and see what's been going on with him. I mean, can we decode this mystery of Shawn Mendes? I don't know. We're going to try though. Date of birth. August 8th, 1998. So he's 26 years old. And I wanted to look at his numerology because we don't have his birth time. And numerology is such a great tool to use when you don't have birth time. If you don't have a lot of information other than a birth date, you can at least find out the personal year cycle that someone's in, which will tell you about the themes that they're experiencing and can kind of help you decode their, intentions and where they're at in life right now. So for Shawn, if you add up his birth date, which is August 8th, you just drop the year when you're trying to figure this out. And you just add 8 plus 8, very easy because August is the 8th month. He was born on the 8th. You get 16. And then to reduce the number further for the purposes of numerology, you do 1 plus 6, which equals 7. So we know that when you add, then you add 7 to the current year or whichever year you want to find out what cycle he was in at that time. So, for example, if we want to find out what happened in 2021, what personal year cycle he was in, and this was the year of his big breakup from Camila Cabello, well, you just add 7 to 2021. So you do 5 plus 7, which equals a 3 personal year. This is a year of emotions and emotional depth. He has spoken before publicly about how he has struggled with his emotions and how that was a really big deal for him in his relationship. He was learning how to be more vulnerable. Wow, 2021, 100%, that was authentic. Again, for entertainment purposes only, all of these are alleged claims I'm making. But if we look at the numerology, it definitely confirms that 2021 was a very highly emotional year for him. Then we go to 2022, and this was a 4 personal year. This is a challenging year. This is a year about rebuilding a foundation. Very, very difficult, especially if you are in a 4 year after a breakup. Just know that the more you focus on yourself and the more that you rebuild the basics of your life, the better things will go. But it is a year where you really have to work hard. It's a nose to the grindstone year. And I think he chose to work on his spiritual self. I think that was aligned for him. But a lot of the time, this is a time where you have to work on your material life, rebuild your finances, things like that. But nevertheless, this was a year that was a little bit challenging for him. Okay, now if we come to 2024, this has been a 6 personal year. Now, many numerologists believe that this is a make it or break it year for marriages and relationships that are serious. I definitely think that we are going to see Camila break free from Shawn. I know, unpopular opinion, but my prediction is that this is going to happen and we're going to see confirmation of it around the VMAs and around this new song that she's releasing. Because we had a Virgo new moon September 2nd, which fell in Camila's fifth house of creativity and romance and inner child healing. I think she's going to see her worth, her value, and finally break free from this cycle. And I think we're going to see that confirmed through her creative self expression with this new song, maybe performing with Sabrina. I don't know. We're going to see this though. I feel it. This is kind of an energy that's coming through. And this sixth personal year is about, like I said, make it or break it in relationships. It's also about creativity. Six is ruled by Venus. So we do see him coming back into the forefront. He is going to be releasing a new album in October at the very end of this sixth personal year as we kind of bring it to a close. And I think that that's really good. I think it's going to be a super successful album because a 6 year is a great time to do anything creative. It's a good time to get married, have children, or walk away from those things if that's not what you're wanting, because those are really the main emphasis of a six personal year. Okay, in 2025, he'll be in a seven personal year. So I don't see him settling down, to be honest with you, because seven is a more spiritual internal year of studying and writing. Now, seven is very prominent in his, birth in his numerology. So I think that he's actually going to align very well with his seven personal year. But I also think that it's not going to be a time of settling down. I don't see him settling down for a while. Okay. Then we get to an eight personal year in 2026. This is going to be a really, really, really good year for him because he was born on the 8th. And I've noticed that people tend to really thrive when they're in a personal year that is the same number as their date of birth. So, like, I'm really looking forward to my personal year 9 in 2025 because I was born on the 9th. So, those are always really lucky years for me. Check and see if you notice the same thing for you. But basically, all this has come up for him. During the Mercury retrograde, we see that he and Camila revisited their relationship, they revisited their connection. I'm going to talk a little bit more about their astrology in part 2, which I'm going to cover when we also talk about Camila Cabello's new song. So I'm going to leave you guys on a little bit of a cliffhanger, but I will say that, Venus and Mars in Cancer, those are both prominent in Shawn Mendes' birth chart, and he had his Venus return June 16th through July 11th, and July 14th is when he was spotted with Camila Cabello at Copa America. So I do think that this summer was really pivotal for Shawn and Camila figuring out their next steps and what's going to, be their future. So we'll talk about that more in part 2, but I love you guys so much. Before we go, I'm going to pull a quick card for Sabrina and her career future because I think it's very bright, and we're going to end on a positivity note. What's coming next for Sabrina Carpenter in career? Ooh, okay. 5 of Pentacles, but in reverse. All right. This is a cycle of her coming out of the cold. In the past, I think she even talked about her mom saying that it was like the tortoise and the hare, and she used to get so annoyed being the tortoise. But now she's finally in a cycle where she's overcoming that. She no longer is this 5 of Pentacles out in the cold person. She is actually in the center of everything. And I love that. We are going to see her making money, thriving, feeling like she has a lot of opportunities. But to her, she doesn't take this for granted because she remembers the time when things were very different. So I do think that this just speaks to her having such longevity in the industry because when you've experienced lack, you don't take it for granted, and you show up. She's also a Taurus sun, so she's a hard worker. She has staying power for sure. Okay, what else? Ooh, the Chariot reversed. Oh my God. As you can see, there are 3 people on this card, 1 woman, and then, 2 men, but this could be either gender. This is definitely talking about a love triangle. Hilarious when the tarot tea is just spot on. A love triangle that has now been turned upside down. It's giving taste. But honestly, this is talking about how I think that she was able to take her negative experiences of, not feeling as successful, but also not feeling super successful in love And she was able to turn it around. Now she feels like she's empowered, she feels strong, she's spoken her truth. And it's also resulting in a roundabout way in her making more money and being more successful in the industry. So, you never know how these negative experiences are going to affect you in the long run. We always end up back on top. Think about how the pendulum swings. Take every negative experience and find the nugget of good and see if you can turn it around into something that is a lesson that fuels you to move forward in the right direction. She definitely did this. She took her pain and she turned it into fantastic music that we're all just bopping to. We can't stop singing it. Okay. And last card for Sabrina Carpenter's career future. The moon reverse. Ooh, we got all reversals. This is so interesting. She is definitely in a karmic cycle of turning it all around. I feel like for her, this is like her time has come. Again, she's experienced it all. I think she's been through it and now this is her time. The moon reverse, the moon is about emotions and illusions. In reverse, this is about having clarity of feeling, clarity of emotion, understanding the best next step forward. I think she feels extremely empowered and like she knows what she wants and she knows herself. So, we're going to continue to see a meteoric rise to fame, a huge takeover for Sabrina Carpenter. I don't think that this is, going to be just like one huge album that we see and then she kind of goes away. I think that this is the beginning of, a new dynasty. So I love to see it. Love Sabrina, sending all three of them love. This was so fun to talk about. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you guys are on YouTube and if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please leave me a review. It helps me so much. It helps me to get out there to a bigger audience and to spill our tarot tea times with more people. So it would just mean the world to me. But thank you guys. I love you so much. And I'll see you in another episode very soon for that part 2. I can't wait. Get back together. Guys, this is God. Oh my God. And if that's true, taste me when it's kissing you. Say the word forever. I bet you do. What a nightmare. The cosplay, it's not easy. See what I do? See how hard I work.